not about how fast I did it or how long it was. It was really a journey for me. Mm-hmm. And it was really about myself. And now that I've done it, like, I really miss it. I really do. And I'm going to do some more stuff with it.
Sure. Cool. I mean, at this point, I would imagine you would. So you went to do Cliff and Redfield,
yes.
Which if you're not familiar and you're listening, Cliff and Redfield, it's a haul to get there, and then you have to go up and down both of them, up one all the way back down.
Yeah.
So it's a big hike, a lot of miles. I don't know the mileage off the top of my head, but that's got to be
it's in the
almost
19s,
20s.
Yeah, I think it's like 19s. I did it from Upper Works, and I did that because the week before, Rhiannon and I, my wife, we went and did Marshall. I had done that one before, this was not Barefoot. We had done Marshall for her, mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, wow, this is really easy walk in, because it's not like going to Avalanche Pass is beautiful, but yeah, it does take a little bit of time to go over the ladders and things like that. So I felt like, oh, this will be quicker to go into Cliff and Redfield. Well, not having barefooted before, I didn't realize that the roads are the hardest things.
Okay.
The trails are the best. Is wherever it was made for rubber to go on the roads, it's the hardest on your feet. So I should have actually done it from the lodge, and I think it would have been a lot easier. But because I did it from there, those I think it's like 1.8 miles or something of the first roads that you go walk in on. I call them the Adirondack Legos. It's literally like walking on Legos. It was intense. But I'm glad I did it that way. But if I was to do it again, I would have done it from the lodge.
Okay. Sure. Cool. Sounds like you are going to do some more things again. So that's fascinating.
Definitely.
So let's see now. So you did Cliff and Redfield next, and at that point you're saying, I'm doing this. I'm going after this. So what was the next hike after you made that decision?
That's a great question. Yeah, and that's why I kind of left Porter, was because I knew I needed, conditioning my feet in this. I knew I needed a hike that wasn't going to be that, such a long mileage, but I could still get my feet going. So I did Porter next. That was my next one. I did it for Sunrise again, and it was beautiful. And it was the easiest one I had done so far, obviously. But yeah, so that was the easiest one. And then I believe after that, hold on, let me see. Oh, yes. So the next one we did Sawteeth.
Okay.
Yep, and we did
just Sawteeth?
Just Sawteeth. Yeah, it was something that Rhiannon needed. So at the time when I was starting this, I wasn't doing it to try to complete it this year. I was doing it just, all right, if we needed to do a hike, I'm going to try and do it. And she needed to do Sawteeth. So it was that was the next one we did. We did it from the AMR. Went up the scenic route, back down, spent the day at Rainbow Falls, and it was an amazing day. It was a great trail. I loved it. Rhiannon did a wonderful job. And then after that, I believe the next one I had done myself. Yes. So then I kind of wanted to start doing this more. So it was Algonquin, Iroquois, and Wright was my next one. That one was the best one I've ever felt done.
Okay.
Well, up to that point. I made it in faster time than I had done with boots and less, bumps, bruises, or anything like that. My feet were actually becoming... that's why I call it the High Peaks pedicure, is because it's not like everyone was asking me, are your feet calloused? Do you have cuts? All of these things. None of the above. It's almost like when you're walking on the hard granite, it kind of shaves the dead skin off, and then by the end of it, my feet have never been so smooth, and I don't know.
Wow.
It's amazing.
That's cool. So now first off, your third hike was Sawteeth.
Yes.
Or I guess no, technically your fourth hike was Sawteeth.
Yep, fourth
because
hike.
Porter was your third hike.
Mm-hmm.
So, Josh, my friend Josh Bliss.
Yes.
Josh is very popular here on this podcast. I hike with him a lot.
Josh is an incredible guy.
He says that the lake road is the hardest surface on planet Earth. He hates the lake road because it's hard. I mean,
yeah.
So did that bother your feet at all? Or
no.
That felt okay on your feet?
Totally fine.
Cool.
It really was. As long as you just watch, you just got to watch where you're going. And it's really like literally every step counts.
Yeah. Which must get mentally draining if having to really focus on every step.
That's a good way.
You probably get in a zone, I would imagine.
That's a good, you kind of are in a zone. It's almost like my prayer and meditation, honestly. Like, it really makes you be present in the now and what you're doing right then, as opposed to like where you're going to go.
Sure.
when you know you got to look and it's one step at a time, but yet also what's cool about it is instead of just thinking about the top, you're literally experiencing the trail from first step to last step, whether it's on the soft moss, because there's places where that's really nice, the warm rocks, which is great, the cool mud, then the Adirondack Legos, those are vicious too. It's really hard to describe, but it's really a journey instead of it being a destination, it's more about the journey.
Sure. I could see that definitely being the case because you're just so in tune with exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And focused.
You have to just watch every step, and it's almost like your eyes communicate with your feet. You see where you're going to step, and you almost know the way it's going to feel before you step there. Mm-hmm. That's really important, because if it's a place where there's mud, you can't just let your foot fall down because you don't know what's on the bottom. It's almost like you have to let wherever your one foot is safe, you got to let the other one kind of find out, okay, yes, it's safe, and then you keep going. So it's a little bit of a slower way, but the way I looked at it is I love being in the Adirondacks, I love being in the woods, and I love hiking. So I looked at it as, okay, this is what I'm going to do today. I don't care how long it takes me. If I just go slow enough, or if I just pay attention enough, I'm going to get to the end of it. Mm-hmm. And that's how I took it each time. But yet each time I got faster, better, and I don't know. It was just it was an incredible experience. It really
now,
was.
Did your feet? Obviously, your feet got better as you went and got more used to it. But what was that process like? You mentioned, right off the bat, your feet were smoother and they felt better. And so what was that building up process like exactly?
Well, I think I had a good foundation in the way of that every summer I would,
You're a barefoot kid.
It was barefoot most of all the time. Yes. So I think I had a good foundation there. And then going into the hiking part of it, it wasn't more about being barefoot. It was more about learning how to walk. Like instead of just, when you have your boots on, when you're going down, especially, you just kind of let gravity go down. You let your foot slap down. You can't do that with barefooting. You have to kind of you almost do like a one leg squat every time you go down. You kind of just let your foot down. You feel, okay, this is a safe place. And then you keep going. So I guess it was more learning how to do it as opposed to conditioning my feet.
Okay, so you're learning the technique.
Yeah,
more than anything.
And I didn't even know there was one, but I guess I figured one out.
Yeah, totally. So now, how long would you say? Do you know how long it took you? Let's say that first day to do Cascade. Yeah,
that was. It wasn't too bad. I think. So it was about. I think I got to the top in like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah,
2 hours, something like that.
Not much longer than it would take.
No,
anyone else with
honestly,
boots on.
going up, I am faster now than when I have boots on. If I was to choose, if I was going to race myself, I would go barefoot going up as opposed to with boots on. Going down, it's obviously different. But I've definitely gotten faster by going barefoot.
It's incredible to just even picture stepping on some of these trails barefoot.
I know, it seems
the
crazy.
Roots and the rocks.
Yeah.
And you watch me go down in particular. I'm a cruiser going up. I like to think that I am an above average hiker on ascents, and I'm slow going down because I'm just cautious and nervous about slipping backwards and falling. But for example, going up Algonquin, let's say. Yeah. Algonquin and that whole trail is a lot of boulders. You're hopping from rock to rock the whole time. So is that sort of terrain barefoot for you faster?
Yes.
Okay.
And here's why. When you know the way, remember when I said that your eyes kind of communicate with your feet? Well, if you know what it's going to, so let's say it's a rock or a bigger rock or some granite slabs, you know the way it's going to feel. So you can just be confident in that and go. It's more about when you can't see what's underneath it is when you need to slow down.
Okay, sure. That makes sense.
But on the flip side of that, the more granite you do, the more it kind of wears your feet in a little bit. So you can't go too fast because if you put too much friction on them, you're going to wear them down too quickly.
Okay. So now, functionally, you said your feet have never felt better. And
never.
Aesthetically, I would bet they probably look even better because you said that
Yeah.
It pedicures your feet.
It does. It really does.
Incredible.
You would think the opposite, but it's really not. And I think it's our feet are custom made shoes for ourselves. And I think it's the way we were meant to go because, I used to be so, like, let's say I was someone that loved to go down. Like, I loved the down. I was someone that would love to run down. But at the end, my knees and my ankles would really hurt. Since barefooting, I haven't had that at all. I've felt better as I go. And I think it's because your feet give you your limitation, where you can only go as fast as your feet let you go because of how it feels. And I think instead of your joints taking that pounding and pressure, I think your feet let you be like, okay, I need to slow down, and you lower yourself down with your muscles more than your joints.
Okay, sure. So yeah, you're using muscles
Yeah.
more than relying on your joints to stop you. That makes sense, especially for myself, who coming down, the knees are just hammered.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's and I go, as I said, I'm slow going down. I'm slow, but still I can't stop that, the knee. But I think also it's kind of just at that point in the day, usually towards the end, it's just like
you're just like, let someone get me yet.
They're generally just like, they're toast because look at what I'm doing. But I can totally see how barefooting, which is the phrase you used, which I love, coin that phrase, barefooting, that would make you be smoother as you move and focused and deliberate with every step.
It really is. It's amazing. It's like, it really is almost like I actually did a little hike the other day, and I had my boots on because it was cold, and it was like, I don't even know how to do this anymore. Like, it was really weird. It was like I was like hiking barefoot, but yet my feet were begging to feel the ground, and I couldn't feel them because it's almost like when your feet hit the ground, it tells your body how to react to the next step, as opposed to when you're in your boots, you put them down and you can't really feel, so you don't know what's coming up. Your boot could slip right out. When your foot goes down and it's slippery, it's like you pick it up right away. It's like, oh, I'm going to slip on this, so I back off. It's an amazing feedback system that I've found with this.
Now, as a chiropractor, would you say that are there benefits to people hiking this way in general for the body? And like, because with chiropractic, it's all about, you guys, you start with the spine and you fix the spine and everything works off of that because it's one body in tune. Would you say that this is beneficial for that sort of kind of thought process?
I think it really is, and I think I'm onto something with it, and I don't know enough about it yet because I've just started it, a couple months ago, we'll say now. I'm going to do more research as I do it, but I think there's a couple things that you can go with this. Number one, it was like I was saying, going down, your feet are your limitations. So they tell you how fast you can go so that you don't put too much wear and tear on your joints. The other thing that I've noticed is the energy exchange. And I don't know if it's, magnetic fields or the electron exchange between the earth and yourself, but in the last 10 weeks, I have never had more energy than I do now. I've done all these peaks in I think it was 9 weeks, 4 days, but yet I still see my patients. I still have a day job. My wife and I went to Maine a couple of weeks, and so it was like I did all of this, but yet I had more energy. I just wanted to keep going, and that was the coolest thing about this for me, was how much energy I had, and more of the side effect of doing it. Instead of it being about the challenge of completing all 46, it was how great I felt after each hike. It was like as soon as I got back, I wanted to plan the next one. Like I couldn't wait. And it was like I wanted to do it even a little more. And it's like I wanted to just be in the woods as long as I could. It's almost like I got back to the lodge sometimes. I was like, I just want to keep going. Maybe I'll just, like I did Nyan Street, which was, a side note, probably my favorite barefoot one. If I was to recommend a first one for anyone, those would be them. Just because of the way the trail is. When I got back, I was like, I want to keep going. I want to go get Colden, then I'll hit Iroquois, and then Algonquin coming back. And obviously, I couldn't do that. I had to get back. My wife would have killed me if I would have kept going that day. But that's how great it was for me. It was incredible.
Man, see, when I get back from the high peaks, I'm just like, I don't
Yeah.
get home. I want to take a shower. I just want to like sit.
No,
down
I
and
wanted to
relax.
keep going.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. It really was. And I know that feeling too, what you're saying. Like that's how I used to be with, with the boots. It was like, oh my gosh, like I just want to get it's almost like when you get down, you're like, I want to get my feet out of